Hi. Thanks for coming. Can you hear me okay? Is that good? Wow, Molly, game on. That was awesome. Stars. So People Like You is my book, debut book of short stories, and I'm going to read from the last story, which is called Welcome to Samsara, and there's three of the stories have a recurring character as a married couple, named Bert and Cheryl. So this is the last story about Bert and Cheryl, and I'm only going to get through maybe like the first third or fourth. Okay, it's called Welcome to Samsara. Thanks for being here. Okay. We were not beach people. Neither of us had what's known as a swimsuit body. Plus, Bert didn't particularly like sand, and I hated the way my feet looked in flip-flops, really anyone's feet. Flip-flops are not the best venue for viewing feet in general. But I'd been 10 weeks pregnant, and then we lost the baby, and after, I wasn't doing so good. Pretty much, I just wanted to die. Bert didn't know what to do with me. Every day for 2 weeks, he asked how he could make me happy. I couldn't possibly answer him. He tried chocolate and flowers, and finally a little zirconia heart on a gold chain, I guess because those were the ways men made women happy on television. I couldn't say what I really wanted was for Bert to have some decent semen meet up with a healthy egg and to please bring the zygote to me in a petri dish. That would make me happy. But I didn't want to hurt his feelings, so I accepted the sweet, ordinary gifts he gave me, and when he was sleeping or watching basketball, I'd toss them out in the big gray garbage bin on the side of our house. It's true, I wanted to die, but I didn't want to do the dirty work. So I hung around in my body to breathe and cry and hate the world. Bert suggested meditation. Far as I could tell, meditation was about sitting and not doing anything, and I was already doing that most days, so why the hell not? It's about breathing, he told me. Just breathe until you think of nothing. So I sat on the bed and breathed. I kept thinking of stuff. The next day, I tried again. I sat and breathed, and it was better. I think I almost did it. I was almost nothing. And then the phone rang down the hall, and I screamed, "You suck!" and I was something again. Next day, Bert suggested a counselor. You think I fucking need a therapist? I was in my pajamas, sitting on the edge of our messy, unmade bed. Out the window, 3 big crows were perched on the bent-top boughs of a pine tree across the street, their black claws clutched firm on the swaying branches. It seemed like a good life to be a crow, the bullies of the bird world. No, not a therapist, Bert said. He was standing in the doorway, a counselor. For stuff like this, they're called counselors. They counsel you. They don't therapute you or therapize. I'm not sure what the right word there would be. The biggest of the 3 crows swiveled and cocked his bird head, one black eye, I swear, looking right at me. Did you see that? I said. I think he saw me. More like a guidance counselor, but for grown-up people, you know, going through the stuff that we did, what happened here with us. Bert sat down next to me on the bed and tried to see what I was seeing out the window. I smelled it right away. The sour, charred, dead smell that piggybacks on clothes and skin. Are you smoking again, I asked. No, he says. Just a little. Barely at all. She was an older woman. I forget her name. We only went once. I remember she wore a yellow knit cardigan. Her eyes were a roomy blue. Everything about her said death. She showed us to her office. A room without windows or plants, sat Bert and me down in matching, uncomfortable blue office chairs and listened to our story. Bad eggs, tiny testicles, blah, blah, blah. Then pills, injections, artificial insemination, then at last, morning sickness, sore breast, blah, blah, blah. That good part lasting just long enough to trust it, and then blam, it was gone. The counselor listened, leaning forward in her chair, sipping something from a ceramic mug. When I was done, she spoke with an infuriating calm, her voice so close to a whisper I had to lean forward to. Weird. Cheryl, she said. The sound of my name in her mouth made me want to eat her face off. What a journey you've been on, both of you. She looked at Bert, she looked back at me, all of us now leaning forward in our chairs like logs on a pyre. These kinds of events can be hard. Bert reached over and held my hand. It was awkward because we both had these wooden office chair armrests between us, but still I knew him well enough to know when he reached over, he wasn't saying, yes, This is hard. He was saying, yes, you're right, honey, she is an idiot. Just keep it together a little bit longer. She said some other stuff. She said, sometimes it helps to honor the event in some way. What event? It wasn't a President's Day sale. Many of my other families found it helpful to buy a little figurine, something to keep around the house to honor the event, something to remember. She pointed to a white ceramic angel sitting on the top of a messy bookshelf, its wings spread wide, head bowed in reverence, tiny angel hands palm to palm in prayer. Didn't she know? Remembering wasn't really the problem. It was the forgetting I was having trouble with. Cheryl, do you think it might be helpful for you to have a keepsake like this? It's okay to tell us. This is a safe place. Perhaps she could feel the hate lasers shooting out of my eyeballs. Perhaps not. Either way, it was time to go. Yes, I said, what a good idea. I stood up. We'll go get that now. Thank you. Bert stood up too. Great, he said. I think we're all set here. He was still holding my hand. I couldn't let go quite yet. The counselor rose to her feet with us. She said, we have some more time if you'd like to keep talking. Wonderful, he said again. This was great. Bert and I, we've always been good counterbalancing each other at our worst. Thank you so much, he said, thanks. He reached out to shake her hand with his free hand, and for a moment, the three of us formed a human chain. Like together we might break out into song to oppose senseless killings or an oppressive regime. But what had happened to us wasn't anything like that. It was only a miscarriage. The single, quiet slipping away of something that wasn't quite something enough yet. The counselor broke away first, dropping Bert's hand and smoothing her skirt, or perhaps she just wiped his hand sweat off her palm. As I grabbed my raincoat and purse from the side of the chair, she said one last thing. One last thing, she said. For families, couples, in your situation, sometimes it helps to take a breath from your life, yes? A little vacation, just the two of you. Enjoy yourselves, eat a nice chicken dinner, drink some wine. She said more stuff as we walked out, who knows what. I knew to stop listening at her best piece of advice. Bert belly flaps into the Royal Papaya Resort's chemical blue pool water, burning with chlorine and probably, let's face it, at least one person's urine. The cool water splashes onto my bare legs, stretched out on a Royal Papaya lounge chair. Bert heaves his body onto the pool's rim and clambers up onto his feet, then performs some kind of running side leap back into the pool. The water is tossed up against the pool's concrete lip and sloshes back and forth, splashing my legs again. An older couple across the pool lies on their side-by-side lounge chairs, reading a newspaper. On their heads are matching crisp white ball caps with the hotel logo, a fat gold papaya wearing a crown. They give me a look like Bert is my responsibility and he's out of control, and could I please do something to ensure he no longer invades their equatorial peace with splashed water spouts and their precious morning reading material. I smile and wave and think, fuck you so much. Bert doggy paddles to the metal railing on my side of the pool, which in the pictures on the Royal Papaya website appears enormous, as big as a lake, but in person is as big as a regular pool. He limps toward the empty lounger next to me. I think I stubbed my toe when I did that cartwheel. Is that what that was, I say? The pool waiter walks by in sunglasses, surf shorts, and a tank top. It's hard to tell he's a waiter. He looks more like a lifeguard, except he's carrying around a tray. I order an iced coffee with Kahlua because it's morning, but also it's Hawaii. You know, a cartwheel is on your hands, right? I say. No, I don't think so. That's not right. Bert towels off his chest and hair. Why is it called a cartwheel if you need your hands? Carts don't have hands. I have no reply. When a couple goes to Hawaii, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to have sex. Not me, though. I couldn't do it. It had been 2 months since our President's Day sale, but my body still felt distended and foreign. My clothes fit wrong, like they were someone else's clothes. Sex only served to remind my body that it was a different body than it used to be. My old body liked sex. This new body preferred to be the base camp for a brain. Physicality was not to be trusted. Without warning, it could fail. I'll stop there. Thank you.